Welcome to Job Mail, James and Amy from LUMIN. I just want to say firstly congratulations on your showcase at the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week this year. Can you tell me what were the highlights for you at this year's show?
Do you want to start?
Go ahead.
Well, we were really excited to showcase. It was our first time, and it was such a great experience being part of a group of established designers, and then there was a lot of up-and-coming designers. We experienced fashion media from around the world, a lot from Africa, and we got to see so many great designs from all the other labels that were showcasing.
Yes, and you yourself are.
Yeah.
Great. What made you decide to become a fashion designer? You can each answer that.
I think for myself, I grew up in a creative family with artists and architects and designers, so it was just natural. And I just had a love for clothes, so yeah, it was just a natural choice for me.
For me, I think it started when I was a kid. You know how girls play with Barbie dolls, and my mom never really went and got me, the clothing for the Barbies. So I decided, let me make my own, and it started from there. It was just, it was a choice from then.
Where and how did it all start for you and your design partner? How did you guys hook up?
Well, Amy actually came to me with the idea after we graduated from college, and she said, are you interested in maybe starting up a label? We didn't really know at the time what it would become, but we played around with a few ideas, and then we finally settled on LUMIN, and then started with that.
That's great. Where did you do your training to become a fashion designer, and for how long did you study?
We both studied at LASOF together. It was a 3-year BA course.
I think there's a branch in Pretoria and one in Joburg. We studied the Joburg one, and that's where we met, and now we became friends in college.
It was a 3-year BA degree.
And then I think Amy actually studied, she did...
in 2013 I did honours, but James is actually doing honours as well at the moment.
Would you recommend studying further? Going to postgraduate?
I would think if it's something that you enjoy, definitely it will open your mind to more knowledge, definitely. Especially if you want to go into sort of education on fashion. I would recommend it.
What are some of the challenges that you face as a fashion designer in South Africa?
Budget is definitely one of the biggest challenges. With our brand, we had to put in our own capital. At the moment, I feel there's not enough support for young designers.
From government institutions and the private sector. And I think we're also quite limited with resources that we have here. We don't have that much fabric, for example, to choose from. And the techniques that you see on overseas catwalks, you won't necessarily be able to do that here. Like 3D printing is still very new and stuff like that. So.
Manufacturers as well, it's been really tough to actually find a good manufacturer that can do everything, and up to standard as well.
What personality traits or characteristics are needed to be a successful fashion designer, in your opinion?
I think it takes all sorts of personalities, but I think you definitely have to have determination, and you can never give up on yourself, because there's going to be tough times, and you're going to feel like, oh, why did I do this, and there's a lot of rejection. You can't be too sensitive. You have to be quite a tough person inside, but you can still be a fun person and enjoy the experience.
Not let criticism
you must definitely.
As well, with us working together, you definitely need teamwork. You definitely need to know how to work in a team, because a lot of what we do is about compromise.
Some designers might want to start their label on their own, and that's great. I think it's a lot of work, so you definitely got to be prepared for the long hours. So you've got to be a hard worker.
Can a person become a fashion designer without having a degree or formal training? In other words, is it possible to work your way up to becoming a fashion designer? And which positions would you then start with?
I definitely would say so. I mean, not everyone has the opportunity to study. It's quite expensive in this country to study fashion, at least. I think if you can get in internships, or you can get apprenticeship jobs with a fashion designer, work under them, if you want to go into design, some people might want to go into styling. If you want to, work at a magazine, I think it's just trying to get your foot in the door.
Yes.
And like I said, you will get a lot of rejection, so you have to be persistent.
Yeah.
And I mean, the internet is such a useful tool. You can basically find anything, how to start your own label, how to approach it. So I mean, definitely do all the research you can.
Yes.
And I think also reach out to designers and there's top fashion people. A lot of the times, young people might think, oh, they won't want to waste their time. But network. And always willing to help these big people in the industry.
Yes.
It's definitely not as glamorous behind the scenes as what you see on the catwalk.
There's a lot of tears and a lot of sweat that goes into it, but it's definitely something to go into. If you have that passion.
Yeah, if you really love fashion, then it's worthwhile the end result.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared for the long hours. There's a lot of doing over and a lot of heartbreak but there's also a lot of fun and a lot of amazing experiences to be had along the way.
Okay, lastly, what can we expect to see from Lumin clothing in the future?
Well, I think our next step is to do a few collaborations. We would love to start our menswear range, get that up and going, maybe get into the international market a bit more. I don't know if we mentioned, but we had an online store in London who reached out, and we're busy stocking them at the moment. So
definitely just working on our brand, expanding, and we want to become a household name eventually. So
definitely. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing more from Lumin in the future.
Thanks for having us.